Howdy friends, my name's Carl. Today we've got a good episode for you. We're going to be talking about sort of how cool would it be if... I'm joined by Mike again. Hiya Mike.
Hello, howdy friends.
Howdy friends. So, yeah, like I said, we're going to be talking about sort of like how cool would it be if this was in the ranchers. So it's sort of like whatever wild theories you have, Mike, you tell me and we'll discuss it, right? I'm going to say one, which didn't even come from me. This came from Ellie the other day when we were sat talking about the game. She was like, I wonder if you could be a vegetarian in the game, right? Because I know it's a ranch and you're supposed to have the live produce, but we are in that day and age where you could just be, you know, doing the veg game, bringing up the crops.
Yeah.
Which is sick. And then I pulled us over to the other screen now because when we were looking at it as well, the other thing that we're thinking was when he goes to the fridge, will your fridge be stocked with just your own produce that you're building? You know, I guess it's like a chest in a certain way, because if we look there now.
Yeah, it looks, yeah. Yeah, because and looking at that screenshot, it looks like all things that would spoil.
Yeah.
You know, like they're not in a wooden chest. Like,
yeah,
you've got your meats and stuff. Now that's interesting because I think you could like it with. There's no reason why you wouldn't be able to be a vegetarian. What would be really cool though, imagine this, is that if that affected your relationships with people, because there might be other vegetarians.
Yeah.
And also maybe like your stats.
Yeah.
Imagine if they were affected because
your diet's different.
I don't know. Yeah, because you got a different diet. And like conversely, if you were a carnivore where you only ate meat, like that having an effect on. So, I mean, yeah. You could, and like you could also have like a conscious effort where you are arable farming, so you're only doing fruit, veg, and crops.
Yeah,
and you aren't. And maybe if you do have cows or chickens, they're only for poultry and milk, dairy purposes.
Dairy, yeah,
that'd be really cool.
I guess like you must be like it might not be sort of built in as like this is a vegetarian ranch, but you must be able to like just decide, right, I'm not gonna send my cows or I'm not gonna yeah. And like I wonder if you will be sort of sending your cattle to a slaughterhouse in this, or I wonder how sort of, you know what I mean, like on a Wednesday does a truck come past and then your cows just get picked up or something, you know what I mean?
Well, there are animal transportation vehicles, aren't they?
Exactly, yeah.
So is that like, yeah, and I mean, you got to remember the influences of this game, like we talked about in the last episode. Where will it just be, oh, you're just going to the farmer's market and they're going to live on this lovely sunshine farm?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be Kevin in his big trucks coming, they're off to the abattoir, and they're going to use a fire elemental from the dungeon to sear the meat? You know, like how...
yeah, is that where these dungeon monsters come in?
That's why we need them. That's why we've got to, you know, and you can be anti meat, like vegetarian, vegan, and you go in and you're thwarting all these elementals and that are killing all the livestock. I don't know, but yeah, it would be interesting to see actually how they do handle that, because for educational purposes, I do think it could actually send a strong message about like actually learning where your food comes from.
Yeah.
You know, like almost as an educational, and like seeing how, I mean, we're looking at, you've already touched on it and Ellie's already said, like, we are in an age now where you can actually have a healthy, sustained diet that isn't just meat.
Yeah.
And even dairy, you can go like vegan.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there'll be a way that maybe it's not an educational game in that aspect, but maybe there's at least a conscious
conscious
like
effort.
You say you could be streaming the ranchers and be like, hey, we're going to try and do a no cow chicken, no meat
no animal cruelty
farm.
sort of farm. Yeah, like
and go like full yeah, which would be like, and if you do have chickens, they have to be super organic, corn fed, free
massive free
range,
range. Yeah,
primo. Like, so yeah, it's actually quite a you could get a lot out of that being, and like say, like the relationships, like you might come up and go, hey, I've brought you this goose
yeah,
as a relationship thing, and they're like, don't you know I'm a vegan?
exactly.
You're a
Yeah,
terrible person. And then they draw a gun on you, and
yeah,
I don't
that's
know,
it. And then
maybe
it
it
all
won't go
goes
that.
to the GTA influence. Yeah,
Yeah, 5-star water level. Oh, it's mad. Yeah,
yeah.
no, so that's a good.
Just wanted to. That's one when Ellie said it. I thought, I don't know.
It's
I
good.
don't know if I've seen that. Like on a
Yeah, I
ranching
think
game.
if it was going to be implemented, like say, stats relationships would have to be game implemented.
Yeah,
But if you wanted to just do arable farming, no produce, like that should also be an option. I think that'd be
yeah,
really cool to maybe do.
yeah. Because, and I guess it's worth saying as well now before we get too into sort of the cowspiracies. Do we say? Because it's a ranch.
Cowspiracies.
We've got the core spiracies for Core Punk podcast, haven't we? So let's
And
the
cowspiracies.
cowspiracies. That this is just sort of like speculation. We're not expecting any of these to make it into the final game. We're just sort of how cool would it be if this happened?
Yeah.
But if it doesn't happen, we're
A,
not owed anything, so it doesn't matter.
no. And hey, who knows? They might listen to us and go, that's a pretty good idea.
Like,
That's maybe,
why
you
not?
know. And that's what I will say on their Discord. They do have a Ask the Devs game suggestion bit. So
Yeah,
if you do have any, go onto their Discord and post it. Because I posted about I mentioned it in the last episode about how if you adopted, will they have different stats? Because they're not
yeah.
necessarily
Oh
your
yeah, and
kids.
we mentioned that in the last episode, didn't we? Yeah.
And they said, yeah, it will be different. So like, it's worth asking because they respond. So that's good.
In The Sims 4, you can pick to be veggie or vegan as well,
Can you?
like as a lifestyle choice. So yeah, maybe if they are taking that Sims inspiration, it could be that you can do what we're asking as well. But I've not seen it wrote anywhere. So
No. And I imagine if it wasn't, it would be maybe a further down the line. I don't know. It'd be weird to be a DLC, but you know what I'm saying. Like, an added patch maybe.
I wonder on the darker side of that, just before we move off from this one, like you said, like if you did have sort of chickens and stuff, they'd have to be free range. I wonder if you could run like a dark ranch, you know what I mean, where you caged hens, corporations, you're just trying to earn your money. Like, I wonder, you know what I mean? Because if you're building your own hoops and stuff like in The Sims, you could essentially build that and put your chickens all next to each other in cages and just farming them for eggs.
Efficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I, that probably is possible. And if we're going off the thing about like every action does have a consequence, that could well fit into it. The action is you don't have high welfare for your chickens. You spray pesticides on your crops so they grow quicker and fertilizers and stuff. And yeah, high yield, quick money turnover, but like then it's probably crap quality food. You know, like I wonder if they'll grade the food, you know, like
some inspectors come round, health inspectors or something.
Health inspectors, stuff. Yeah. That's an actual great shout. Yeah.
Because you get like that on
spot checks.
Yeah, because you get that on The Sims, don't you? Of just like random people, like, is it social services? If you're like not looking after your kids,
if you're neglecting your kids,
yeah, just come round and pick them up and take them. Like, yeah. So stuff like that could happen.
It definitely could, and that was actually it's just touch on. That's one of my. Wouldn't it be cool if there is a grading system for not just your farm? So like, oh, I've got a 5-star farm or an S tier farm or whatever they want to, but like, depending on how well and the various types of fertilizers and planting at the right time of the year and stuff, whether your yield is affected by that or given a star rating. So, you know, like you might just pull up potatoes, but if you've watered them at the right time, you've not used pesticides, or you have used pesticides, but you've mitigated it elsewhere. Whether you get a 5-star potato or a 1-star, and then that affects how it goes to the market or stuff.
Yeah,
that was one of my that would be cool if.
The same with the hunting, I guess that could come into kind of like Red Dead Redemption 2, where if you're using the correct weapon and the correct size caliber for the animal that you're hunting, you'd get a better kill because you're not damaging the meat as much, and you've not got like, you know what I mean, you're not shotgunning and buckshotting a animal and getting shrapnel everywhere.
A tiny rabbit that's just like
exactly yeah.
So that was one of my that would be cool, because that would be only as well incentivize you to, and it kind of falls in that morality again of, you can grow quicker crops with fertilizers and stop them getting diseased with pesticides and stuff. But the thing is you're obviously sacrificing it being organic and it being free range and it being, the process being slower for a better product and stuff. So I wonder how, or if they will implement that, or whether potatoes just take 6 minutes and that's that. But then the game comes in as to how many potato plots you put down and stuff. So.
And I guess that's a funny way. Do you reckon it'll be day cycle based, or do you reckon it'll be time based, like you just mentioned there? Like, so every 10 minutes you can get a crop out, or do you reckon it'll be sort of I think they've mentioned it's going to be seasonal, but I don't know sort of like if it'll be that Stardew sense of it takes 10 days in like world games.
It could, I think, for accessibility purposes, that would make more sense, because the other side of it being time based is it becomes a bit mobile appy then, where you're
idle,
almost forced to, you're not actually doing as much. So having it in days and, like you say, breaking it into seasons and all that good stuff. Because as well, if you can only play for 10 minutes, which is if it is a day, however long the cycle is, at least you're coming to a firm stop point, save point. So yeah, I would hope it was that, and not like crops just take a given amount of in-game time. But then I could also see that being a separate mode that'd be quite fun, where it's like you have to kind of, if you don't plow them, like they take 5 minutes to grow, but then if you not harvest them within the next 3-4 minutes, they start rotting or whatever. But yeah,
this is a bit of another how cool. Obviously, that's what this episode is. But this is a bit. There's a couple of parts to this. There's like on the. This I don't think this will happen, but how cool would it be? Where like this could happen. So it is touching on the garage thing that we mentioned in the last episode, where we know that you can repair your own vehicle if it breaks, right? So, all right, situation, you're going out, car breaks. I'd like to be able to have your own sort of tow truck, if you could afford it, in a garage at your ranch that you can go back, right, I need to trek back, walk back, whatever. Pick up the car, come pick up the broken vehicle, take it back, fix it at the ranch. And not a lot of people will want to do that. It becomes tedious on the 7th or 8th time that you need to do it. So you could then pay for a mechanic to take it back, or a tow truck to take it back, cost a bit more than doing it yourself. Yeah. But then my other thing was, so what happens if you could you had like the mechanic's bench inside the garage on the ranch that you had to upgrade, and it gets to a point of like, there's also a scrap yard in the world somewhere. And if you somehow get to the top level tier, instead of needing to waste money buying decent pickup trucks and stuff that are already built, and that you could go and pick up one from the scrapyard and start building it up, but
like restoring
it, into yourself. I thought that could be a really cool sort of like, I don't know, it just a bit more end gamey, like, oh, this takes a bit, because obviously it'd take a bit of time. But if you're going to build up a car, it's got to space it out.
Like a restoration project would work along pretty well alongside it, like you say, because you might have. I mean, I mean, in Britain, our literal time zones move because of farming. It's usually done in the day, and we know that there are evening activities like going to the bar, going to the pub, and stuff. But like that could easily be like an like
Yeah.
right, all the animals are in bed, chill out, like you say, go hunting on the scrap pile, and it may just be like I don't know how it works. You could have like a chance, so you can click 5-6 little scrap piles at the scrapyard each day,
Yeah.
and it's a random. You
Drop.
found a pickup truck bumper, and it's like, do you want to keep it or do you want to just leave it? And then, like you say,
Yeah, and
you
you've
you
got
kind of you get in the bumper, you get in the tires, and
the
then
chassis.
eventually,
Yeah.
bam, get yourself a nice little cool car.
And instead of just like, I was thinking, because they're in GTA, you can like go and you go to the mechanics, the auto shop, and then you just hit in spend. Once you've got enough money, it doesn't matter. You can do anything
It
to any
doesn't
car.
matter. Yeah.
I think it should also cost crafting materials. And just that, and it's another. I know that at some point you'll have enough crafting materials to like just do it. But if you're putting together, say you need scrap bolts to put these bits together, and it costs so many bolts to put, those wheels on, or as well as cash.
And they could
You know what I mean?
easily, yeah.
But it'd be the balance of keeping it cheaper than just buying a brand new car.
Well, they could easily implement if they're doing the dungeons. What's stopping them? Those bolts, or at least the bars.
Exactly.
To
Yes.
make bolts, like there is that loop there of getting materials and treasure from dungeons. That's the thing I did take away from after we'd done our last episode was it'd be interesting actually to think, well, you're going into the dungeons and stuff, and obviously you'll be getting, I imagine there'll be some element of weapons and like that traditional stuff, but I wonder what will be in those places for you to bring back to your homestead and your, it's not like I can't imagine you're going to find a rare pig in a dungeon, and maybe you do, maybe you find the golden goose and you bring him back and they lay golden eggs. Like,
that's it.
That could easily be a thing.
It could be.
I was wondering what would incentivize you to go into if you chose to do that. And I can tell already what you're thinking by this screenshot, and I wonder if you are thinking that about the pickup in the garage. You are, right?
I'm thinking that could be the car, couldn't it? There's the scrapping car.
Be.
It looks like it.
Could be.
That if I was
tarp over it,
and every ranch has a tarp over a truck somewhere. I imagine. I mean, I've not seen many ranches in my life, but in any media that I've ever seen,
yeah, barn finds in Forza Horizon, like
exactly.
Just going up to some random. I mean, it's weird that because you drive up to someone who obviously owns the barn, and you're like, oh, there's a really rare car, and that's mine now.
Oh yeah, in Forza, yeah.
What? I think that belongs to someone, mate. But
I mean, obviously, this isn't set up in mind for what I'm talking about, but
no,
it could. You know what I mean? It could look like this. You could pull that tractor out of there easy, and then you just go click onto
it looks have a like that tractor's parked. Definitely.
Yeah. You have a crafting bench in there and all that.
Yeah, because that could just be the starter garage. That's the garage as opposed to the workshop.
Exactly. And you could, and even that could have tiers where some things you can't do at home yet until you get like, what is it, like a lift or that thing that you drive cars onto in garages so you can get underneath it and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? There could be upgrades to then, like for the time being, no, you need to go to see a mechanic to fix your car until you can afford this, and this, and then you can do that. I just think there's a cool element to it, but you know what I mean? Whether other people will feel the same, who knows?
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think that could easily be implemented. Because the other thing I was thinking about is obviously ranchers, farming in general for a modern day. It's a tough and dying industry.
Yeah.
And I wonder how, if at all, the thing I was thinking about is obviously we're growing the crops, we're looking after animals, we're partying at night time, dungeoning, all that cool stuff. But obviously, the relationship side of it and going into the town and doing deliveries and stuff, it did make me wonder how easy or how difficult it would be, because there are delivery vehicles in the game.
Yeah.
There's animal ones and just delivery ones. So there's
Yeah.
obviously the ability to go to a set location, deliver the things, whether it's on a certain day, has to be within a certain time limit, all those cool little like mini game it. But like, I wonder how cool and how easy it would be that if you say it's winter, crops are a bit harder to grow, they take longer. There's obviously going to be more downtime between, like, summer, things are blooming, everything's green and lush, winter's a bit harsher. I wonder if you could do like, and this is what of my how cool would it be ifs, you could have side gigs like taxi driving.
I was thinking this before. I was thinking, how cool would it be if you could just be a milkman? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, milkman, fantastic. That's a great one. Like these kind of little side hustles. Like, heck, like one of the vans looks very similar to a very popular company that sound like Schnamazon,
yeah.
and that's
Let
a
me see if
van
I
you
can
see
find them for
driving in
you.
the trailer. So obviously, I wonder if like, and that'd be a cool way then to kind of
Yeah, because
supplement your lifestyle when things are a bit tough. I mean, there's a workbench there,
so
just as he's running
yeah,
past.
yeah. As he was going past, yeah, that like that crafting bench. Um, to that point, like I think that van's coming now, isn't it? There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there.
fresh every day with a rancher's symbol on it as well, and that's such a nice touch.
Yeah,
I've not noticed that before. All right,
yeah.
that's great.
So like, imagine if that is like, because if the NPCs live their own lives and stuff, and you can click. You did it in San Andreas. You could press R3, L3, and then you just started being a taxi driver. And it's a simple mini game. It can be easy as just pick person X up and drop them effects Y, supplement your income. Bit of fun to do for the day. Extra few achievements.
I forgot about
Quite
that you
fun.
did that in San Andreas. Was it San Andreas? You said,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Another point to that is like, imagine if it is sort of like, well, you could sell it to the town at a reduced payback, or you could deliver it door to door yourself. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
If you spent a couple of days getting the bottles, or you're getting the stock up of the milk, and then if you delivered it yourself, you got more of a cut.
yeah, yeah. So the work to reward, like you say, yeah. If you were a milkman, you could get up at 5:30, collect all the old milk bottles,
Yeah,
like, and do like and like you say, you just get a higher cut of the profits then, or
yeah,
um, and then to further that is, and I think you touched on it before when you were talking about the pickup thing, is if you could hire NPCs to do nominal jobs for you, like
all
your
right, yeah,
farm just gets too big. Like I know we've got the co-op aspect, but I wonder if it's things like it is slaughter day or time for them to go to the happy farm.
yeah.
Whether again you could do it yourself, you can get in the
Happy
truck and you
farm.
can drive them, or at some point you can get a farmhand, an NPC to do it for you, but obviously you're paying them for the convenience whilst you get
Yeah.
on with other stuff. So I wonder if that'll be a
Well, it comes into that point that you said that sort of like if you did just leave your farm and went off exploring, there would be sort of a cost that sort of neglect consequence. Sorry,
neglect.
was the
Yeah,
word I was looking for. Um, so yeah, imagine if you could pay an extortionate price. So you couldn't do it all the time because then you'd just be, well, you won't be playing the game, would you? You know what I mean?
run it. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
running at a loss, and it's
Yeah.
just
You need to like.
unsustainable.
I think if you did it at an extortionate price, so if say if you for the next couple of play sessions you just wanted to go and mine that dungeon, or you really wanted, like, you could either leave your farm or you could pay someone and they'll run the business for you for a couple of days whilst you can just go and concentrate on
Holiday.
something else. Yeah.
Yeah. Go fishing. Go on a fishing
Yeah,
trip for a
exactly.
few
That
days.
sort of thing. Like,
Don't
look,
have to worry about going home to the ranch. You can, there's a
and
save point as a hotel somewhere in a tavern or something.
it'd be a good way of sort of balancing a really sort of strict sort of play style of things need doing in an order. And you know what I mean? Say the milk run needs doing at R5 and blah, blah, blah. If you didn't want to do that, instead of running the risk of losing reputation with the townspeople because you've stopped delivering milk and you've stopped doing this and that, yeah, you hire someone to cover it for a couple of days and then you can just go and, but I don't know if that's too, it's such a wild idea, isn't it?
Because
it's just,
you pinged a neuron in my brain then where I was like, you'd have like rival ranches.
Yeah.
So within the town, there's maybe 4 ranches, and you're one of them.
Yeah.
And your reputation for animals, plants, food, milk, like you say, it's like a competitive table. So if you didn't keep up with the milk run, yeah, okay, you'd be rank 4 D grade, but your competitors have filled that market.
Yeah.
So the town keeps running. So, like the Red Ranch down the road, they're known for their milk production. So it's not even worth it anyway. And maybe that would be like a good way of like just. So if you did, like you say, hypothetically, just done with milk, I'm dungeoneering forever now.
Yeah.
This is my life. At least like there'll be an element of, oh, well, just one of the other ranchers will do it. It's quite a nice little way of.
You could also do it as sort of like, say, once your produce is ready, it just comes up as a pop menu. You like, A, do you want to send it to the market, or B, do you want to deliver it yourself? And it's done individually. It's not something that you're tied into every time. It's just, today I'll deliver it myself. Tomorrow we'll send it to the thing. And it could be, again, going back to that sort of garage thing that you're building up. The milk run could only unlock once you buy a milk float. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not something you instantly get.
Yeah, and I like the idea that you would the replayability or the ability to adapt during a playthrough would be that there's enough content and enough things to do where you could just run a plant-based, eco-friendly. You've got wind turbines. Like, because that was the other thing I was thinking about, like energy consumption.
Yeah.
Whether they'd have, you can just come off the grid, the national grid, and there's electric bills, or whether there's a way for you to have, your own solar panels, like a little solar farm to help offset your cost of your house that you build and stuff.
I wonder if they'll lean into that. It would be nice that, because that's a big thing in Sims, isn't it? That you have like daily costs that you need to be getting an income, and that's why you get a job in The Sims. So each meal in The Sims costs, don't it? Like you go to the fridge, it takes 20 simoleons.
And I like that balance of you balancing the books. It's like you can't live beyond your means. You can't have this really rich grand house, which you could have farmed all the materials, but if there's a cost to running it, I kind of like that you couldn't have a huge house and only have 5 carrot fields and expect to be like, well, this is how I live. I just sell carrots.
Yeah. My other big one is, and I said it in the first episode again, UFOs, aliens. I want sort of, I mean? I want the supernatural to happen, and maybe only at certain times in the year, whether real world sort of October time, Halloween time, things pick up then. That'd be great, because it'd be a lovely reason to sort of make sure that you log on throughout the year. And we know that they're going to do holiday events. There's something a month long sort of, like I said, whether it was like a spooky serial killer quest line that rolled into town. Someone's rolled into town and you're trying to find out what's going on because you're friends with the local sheriff, and they want your help because other people's ranches have started having this and that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
it goes. I go off on
You
a tangent, but
you could, and I think what's surprising me about this, and in my head, is I feel like there's a narrative, even though it's obviously a sandbox game, and
yeah.
I feel like you could have little quest lines like that. Like even if they're paid DLC,
Oh,
like
I'd pay for something like that. If
Eric,
100% I'd pay for
there's
that.
a new guy called Eric who's just rocked up into the town. He's spending money frivolously, and no one really knows his history. And it's up to you to find out.
Make
You know,
friends and
like
find out. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and like you can have like some storyline where, yeah, and like you say, actually, Eric is in disguise and he's an alien, and he's here to put little tracking beacons on your cows and
Bacon.
UFOs.
You know what I mean?
Nab them.
I mean, I don't know what like there might for the alien stuff. There doesn't need to be a storyline with that. I'm more just thinking it'd be
Oh,
so
that
cool to
does.
just at night. You know, like in it is. It's like Sims when you just your characters in bed and all of a sudden these
Random
ghosts start
events.
walked. Yeah, random events. You know what I mean? Stuff like
Yeah.
that. Just it's like what? Wait a minute, I've never seen that before. Oh my god, but you know what I mean? And maybe it only happens at a certain time and certain time of year or a certain season within the game. Just yeah, stuff
Yeah.
like that. I think would be
Cool,
just
cool little Easter eggs like that always make games really just give that extra touch. Like you say, it might just be that if it could be as simple as you've romanced the right person
yeah,
within a certain time window, and but you notice suddenly Jeff's not turning up to your dates, but it's a full moon.
yeah.
What could it be?
Uh,
Oh, it's a werewolf. If you go to this part of the map
map, you
on
see
that
him.
night in a full moon, you just see his clothes ripped, and it doesn't have to do
That's
anything.
exactly 100%.
But that would be like, oh, Jeff, you're a werewolf, and he's
Yeah,
like, oh,
no, yeah, it
yeah,
doesn't go anywhere. That's just something for you to know, then, isn't it? It's like
to
in
know, yeah.
GTA they do that where you have to you go to a certain beach and you look at a lighthouse at like 3 a.m. or something, and there's a ghost there only for an hour within the clock,
Oh,
in-game
right,
clock,
okay,
and then
yeah,
that's it. They've gone, and that's it. And there's just like, what's
yeah.
this? Where's that from? But I think there is a bit of like, in-game storytelling that you can figure out and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not a quest. You don't get a reward from it.
No, yeah, just yeah. If you find the golden goose
Find the golden
and
goose. You get
you
all the golden
breed it
eggs.
with a cow somehow,
Right.
and they get golden milk,
Right.
which you then freeze in the shape of a gold bullion bar.
Right.
Big Bang Heist. So you replace the frozen milk bullion bars with the
Yeah.
real
Real
gold bullion
gold. Yeah.
bars from
Yeah.
the bank, and it's called the Great Cow Goose Heist.
Right.
DLC, £5 coming out October.
That, that's great. That's probably the best.
You're welcome.
That's the best one on this podcast today.
No, God, I tell you, my head just goes.
Yeah, I know. It goes to
it's funny.
places. Have you got another one?
Restaurants.
Restaurants. Go on. Tell me more. You just want to go there?
We make food.
We're
How
chefs?
cool would it be to have a kind of a chef in, like even owning a restaurant or having some way of contracting yourself to be the supplier for a restaurant? And like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like, you don't have to be moonlighting as a chef at night or anything. But how cool would it be if that there are restaurants that require seasonal ingredients? So then you can think ahead for your farm rather than just growing stuff and going, "No, this will get me some money."
Some money.
Like,
Yeah.
how cool would it be if they're like, "Hey, for the next 5 weeks, we're doing potato dauphinoise, so we need milk, butter, and potatoes."
Yeah.
Like things like that. And I was thinking that'd be really cool. And then if you stick with certain restaurants, then you do kind of like discounts and
Yeah. Yeah.
but then you actually see your produce in the game. And then when you're speaking to people like, oh, I went to Alfredo's last night and their meatballs were delicious. And then you're like, well, actually, that was beef thrown from my little
Yeah,
ranch.
that's
How
it.
cool's
Yeah,
that? And I thought that would be like how cool would it be? But actually, could work.
it
Like
could
that'd
work.
actually
Yeah,
be
yeah,
really sick.
yeah. It definitely would. It's
Yeah.
sort of these. We're asking for mini games, aren't we? Really, it's sort of like that's what I was, and that's one of my next points. Was it'd be great to. We've seen that first. I'll try to find it in the trailer again. Sorry for people watching it, or if you are an audio listener, which you're probably best watching us on the screen. It's only on YouTube.
Yeah,
So.
I look like Woody from Toy Story. If
You
you
do look,
listen.
and I must say, in the last episode and this episode, you've made a good effort to look like a rancher.
Yeah,
I
got
appreciate
a
it.
friend of me. Howdy, friends. That's the whole thing, isn't it?
That's it. Oh, here we go.
Friends.
There it was. There
There
it
you
was.
go. Yeah.
So we've got this nice, like, friendly bar. You can go dance. There's
Mhm.
someone singing. Maybe you can do karaoke. You can play the piano, whatever. How cool would it be for sort of like a bit of a rougher sort of bar that you could go and play poker in, or you know what I mean? Then those sort of games, or even if it's way too much to ask them to have something like their own game, like Gwent or anything like that in it. But
Yeah, but I mean, you could have
blackjack
I'm
stuff
not
like that.
again.
Yeah, we're not game
developer,
developers.
but blackjack would be cool. And
Yeah,
like you say, like pool tables. What else?
yeah, pool
Darts.
table would be great. Like, and you could do
Yeah.
it like you enter a pool game and it becomes that sort of. Do you remember the old sort of flash billiards game that we used to play at
Yeah.
school? Like
Yeah.
that sort of thing. You know what I mean? You just pull it. You know what I
options.
mean? You're pulling back this cue that's floating in the middle of the air, and yeah,
And also think about the cooperative side. Imagine if we were playing
yeah,
and it's like let's play pool, or if there's more of you can play darts because that's a multi. You can have
yeah.
and like just gamifying stuff. I imagine isn't easy. Like I'm not saying it'd be easy to implement that. But there are those kind of heck, even if it is just a knockoff of Space Invaders, there's a little arcade cabinet and you can just do high scores. And then if I came to your town and I did a high score, it'd stay there. It's like little cool things.
Yeah,
So
something
then
like that'd be
when
great.
you're next on it, you're like, oh, I'm going to beat that. And just like kind of gamify those little cool things. And
Yeah,
I think that would be, and I do think it's
I
not
think
out
that'd
the
be
realm.
class.
I say out the realms, like I know they're not a big company. Like
Yeah, I don't actually know how many people are working on the game at this point. It could just be Ethan. That's the only person I know. That's the only name I've got. And Yannick, who is the community manager.
Yeah. But the plus side of a game like this is that it doesn't all have to be there from day dot.
No.
It can just have everything we know so far. And as the game fleshes out and you get the players and they've got more time to do the other things, there could be a summer party of, like you say, they're doing seasonal things. So they could have like a summer party event where a carnival comes to town and there's like cheap little hooker duck games and
stuff like that.
Just cool things like that encourage a community feel. And imagine streaming it
Exactly.
and having a community night with your viewers, and you can open up your thing to however many people can come and visit.
Yeah.
And you can all just play these little carnival games or these bar games or hide. Heck, I would love nothing more than to play hide and seek. If there was a way to hide the hood, you all start at the ranch, you've got 5 minutes, I'm coming to find you.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
We used to do that, didn't we, on GTA? Do you remember back in the day?
Yeah.
We had sniper guns and stuff. That was before Battle Royale was a thing, you know what I mean? And that's what we did.
I well forgot. You just unlocked a memory there. We did. We turned all the hoods off and stuff and was like...
That's
yeah,
it.
but how cool would that be, like, in terms of that community thing? Because the thing I've noticed on the Discord is everyone does seem to be really kind of...
friendly.
Like, like, everyone's really positive, and the fact that they're engaging with the audience does bode well. And the fact that they do have game suggestions, they're not saying no.
No.
So if you do have, maybe not the gold cow goose bank heist, but if you do have some ideas that are maybe a bit more tenable. Maybe I'll put it in as a no,
maybe.
But yeah, do, because at the end of the day, if everyone thinks and gives ideas, if they can do it, I feel like they're the kind of guys that are going to do it.
Yeah.
So
let's end it here. It's been good fun, and I'm excited for our next episode. These have been really, really fun to do with you so far.
I'm really enjoying and
I'm very excited for the ranches.
If you give me a leash, I'm going to run with conspiracies. So
that's it. And we'll say it once more. We're not developers. We're not entitled to anything. This is just purely fun. We're not expecting and we're not trying to put pressure on them at all by pulling out these crazy ideas. This is just us getting excited because this is we talk about this in WhatsApp groups, so why not talk about it here?
And if you've got any cool, if you want to join the discussion with us, just message in the Discord.
Yeah, we've got our own Discord. We're both in the Ranchers Discord. I'll put links below for everything. And we need to get a link to your channel as well, because I forgot to put that in the last one, Mike, so remind me.
It's here.
Is it? It's there, right.
It's there.
You've made me put some work.
To do in editing.
Yeah, cheers. But yeah, until next time, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.